Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, I have another amazing design by Steve Good. I've already got all the pattern printed out, prepped, and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and the pattern in question calls for 1/4 inch material entirely, so that's what we have prepped here. And the design is a mythological and folklore style project. You guys probably are aware by now that I love fantasy, I love mythology, I love urban legends, and I think this project encapsulates that in the form of a tree spirit. Now, Steve Good uploaded this design in late fall of 2023, and I believe the file name is actually Wood Spirit 2023 for those curious. We will show off the design here before getting started, and it's going to have several layers here, so it's going to have that 3D look that I like in scroll saw projects, showing off once again the scroll saw's versatility. The backer board here is in the style of the side of a tree. It's got a branch going off to the side, it's got some knots in it, and then here's where the face of the tree spirit will be. It also has the word welcome at the top. Keep in mind, for this project I'm not going to cut out the word welcome because I just want to hang this project on the display wall off to my side to celebrate my love of mythology and folklore, but the word welcome is there if you guys would like to do that. The next piece we have here is part of the tree spirit's face and beard, and the beard does have some veining in it, and you guys know how we do veining. We just run the scroll saw blade into the line and then back it back out while it's running before proceeding along our cut line. So there is that piece, and then we have the tree spirit's mustache and nose, and the mustache has some more veining as well, indicated by those darker lines, and there's part of the nose as well. And then we're going to stack cut the rest of these smaller pieces, and you can do these individually. Steve Good goes above and beyond when he makes his pattern packs. He drew out all of the individual pieces so you knew how many to cut out. I just added everything up, and we are going to stack cut and get both pieces done at the same time, because you got two eyes, two eyebrows, you know, two layers for the nose to give it some thickness and depth and everything. So we will of course stack cut those. This is the first scroll saw project video of 2024, and I'm really excited to get started and add another piece to the display wall. So without further ado, let's get the camera moved and get started. And over here on the workbench, we will begin by taking the Seiko Scroller's drill and drilling out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And you will note that I have a backer board behind the scroll work we are drilling through to prevent blowout of the pilot holes on the reverse side. And over here at the scroll saw, I will have my parts bin to keep up with all those parts we're going to cut out. And I will take some blue painter's tape here and mask off the hole where the blade goes through. And this just ensures that those small pieces we are about to scroll out will not fall through it, and it does not leave any sticky residue on the scroll saw work surface. But now we are ready to begin scrolling, and we'll begin by stack cutting all of those small pieces I just mentioned and get those cut out. I am using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade for all of the scrolling on this project, and it will cut through all of the material exceptionally well with minimal chip out. If you guys would like to try this project, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. Now we are cutting out the tree spirit's nose and part of his beard and mustache here, and it has some veining in it, and as I mentioned, that's just simply scrolling into that darker line and backing the blade out before continuing on along the cut line. And then we will proceed to finish cutting it out. And then that will be all of the smaller parts, and I'll remove the blue painter's tape. And we can begin by now doing the wizard's face, that single internal cut before releasing it from the waste wood. And again, the beard here has some veining in it. And again, we're just going into that line and backing the blade back out. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. Now we can begin by scrolling out the backer board here, which is the side of the tree which the tree spirit's or wizard's face is emerging from. And this is just a really cool and unique scroll saw pattern, and I like the fact that I've seen people actually carve these
tree spirits out of blocks of wood, but it's nice to see a versatile scroll saw pattern available as well by Steve Good. Doing the final piece of scroll work here, and we are following that outside line to release the backer board from the waste wood. It did not take long to scroll this project out from start to finish. I just, as always, took my time and let the blade do the work. Now we can remove the pieces from the waste wood here and get prepped for sanding, and I will sand all of the bigger pieces I'm getting ready here with the vibrating palm sander over at my sanding station with 180 grit sandpaper, and I will sand the front and back of all the pieces. But then it will be time to sand all of the smaller parts, and I am doing this by hand with a sanding pad here with high grit sandpaper in it. And once all of those pieces are sanded and laid out, it will be time for assembly. And with this being a multi-piece project, I do have a picture of how to assemble it saved on my phone from Steve Good's pattern pack. But I am assembling everything with medium grade CA glue and activator, and just going through and making sure everything looks like before pressing it home and adding pressure to it and letting the glue grab. And once it's fully glued up, I'll set it aside for around 5 minutes to make sure that glue has cured completely. But then it will be time for staining, and I'm using a light golden pecan Minwax wood stain here to allow the natural grain of that 1/4 inch material to pop through. But then we will wipe off the excess and let it dry for around an hour on a hook. And it hung by the wood stove, and after it was dry, it was time for finishing, and I used several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss for my finish, and once that dried, the project was complete.
And here we have the completed Mythological Tree Spirit Face, cut out completely on the scroll saw, and he finished up amazingly well with some fantastic detail. Thank you, Steve Good, for another fantastic and unique design from your scroll saw pattern catalog. Again, this was released in late fall of 2023, and it is the Wood Spirit Face. Really, really cool. It took me around 20 minutes to scroll him out from start to finish. He's not a very complicated pattern. I just, as always, as I do, took my time and let the blade do the work. And I did not cut out the word welcome that was on his forehead in the pattern pack that Steve offers. Again, I took that piece out, and I still think he came out great. And that's the unique thing about scroll saw patterns, is how unique they are. You can cut out as much or as little detail depending on your vision of how you want your project to end up. And I seen the welcome at the top, pointless for what I wanted it to be used for, because I just want to hang him on the scroll saw display wall to represent my love of mythology and folklore and legends and all. Really, really neat. Also, I think grain direction plays a huge part in a project like this. Of course, with it being a multi-layer project cut out of all 1/4 inch material here, I tried to line up the grain in all of my pieces that I prepped of the 1/4 inch material, so when everything was glued together, stained, and assembled, it looked like one uniform piece of wood, and I hope I accomplished that in today's video. And the stain I used is so light, that Minwax wood stain, the golden pecan, that it allows the natural grain of the 1/4 inch material to pop through. Of course, you could cut this out of exotic woods and hang this on an actual tree if you had one out in your garden, to just have a nice little face there for some decor and everything. Of course, this one's going to live in the workshop, as I said, on the display wall. I've always been fascinated with myths and folklore and things like that, and just with my ancestry, I go back and look at everything. And I took the laser engraver and took 10 pieces of exotic woods I found by going through the scrap bin, and made this piece here that hangs on the back wall above the workbench, that tells like the different uses of woods in mythology and folklore. I remember when I posted this, I did get a little bit of backlash just because of my background, and people were just questioning everything on why I would make something like this. But I think it's really unique, and a lot of people wanted me to make one for them, you know. that are into that type of thing for studying the myths and folklore and everything. But now I have a complete scroll saw piece to add to the collection, and I'm really happy for that. Now I haven't clear coated the back of it yet because it is still drying. I did, when I clear coated it, put it by the wood stove to help accelerate drying time, but we are here in the winter and I don't have the summer sun to help quickly dry everything. So once it dries and cures completely overnight, I will flip it over and clear coat the back of it, and it will then be ready to have a hanger attached and hung on the display wall, as I said. But I had a lot of fun in today's video, and I hope you guys like watching me make this project. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.